I want to start by asking you a question, a very simple question. Why do you work so hard? You work harder than your father. You work more efficiently than your grandfather. Thanks to technology, you get things done in seconds. But why? Why do you feel poorer with each passing year? Your house is smaller. Your car is more expensive. When you go to the market, your basket is emptier. They told you this is called inflation. They said, this is the reality of life. They said, it happens sometimes. They lied to you. That pressure you feel right now, that invisible hand squeezing your throat, is not an accident. It is not a mistake. This is the perfectly functioning mechanism of the greatest robbery in history. Look at the money in your pocket. It says, this note is legal tender. But that paper is not the equivalent of your labor. That paper is someone else's debt. And that debt system is mathematically doomed to collapse. Welcome. This is Next Gen Finance. Today, I am not going to tell you which coin to buy or which chart will go up. Today, I am going to tell you how the rules of the game you are playing are rigged. Today, we are going to talk about how to escape that sinking ship. If you are ready, it is time to wake up. Every crime has a date. Every murder has a time. The breaking point of our story is August 15th, 1971, a Sunday evening. President of the United States Richard Nixon appeared on television and uttered that sentence that changed the fate of the modern world. I am temporarily suspending the convertibility of the dollar into gold. He said, temporarily. But that day was the day money broke away from reality in human history. Before 1971, every $35 you held was equal to 1 ounce of gold sitting in the central bank's vault. The state could not print money as it pleased, because it didn't have that much gold in its vault. Gold was a handcuff that disciplined politicians, but that Sunday evening, that handcuff was broken. The dollar ceased to be money backed by gold. It turned into fiat money. So, what is this fiat? It is not the Italian car brand. It comes from the Latin fiat lux. It means let it be, money by decree, meaning the state says, this piece of paper is valuable because I say so. What happened after that day? The brakes failed. The amount of dollars printed since 1971 is many times more than the total of all previous periods in history. You worked harder. They printed more. You saved money. They melted your savings with the money they printed. Look closely at the charts. After 1971, productivity increases, but wages remain stagnant. Where did the difference go? It went to those closest to the money printer, to the banks, to the giant corporations, to the state. And you were left with only crumbs. As inflation, they say history repeats itself. Financial history is about making the same mistake over and over again. Thousands of fiat currencies have been created throughout history, from the Roman Denarius to the German mark. They all share a common fate, returning to zero. As Voltaire said, paper money eventually returns to its intrinsic value, zero. A study shows that the average lifespan of fiat currencies in history is only 27 years. The dollar has been in this system since 1971, that is, for over 50 years. So right now, we are playing in overtime. You don't need to be an economist to see that the system is clogged. In 2008, they printed money to save the system. In 2020, during the pandemic, they printed more. In 2024, they are printing again so banks don't fail. In every crisis, they have to increase the dosage, just like a drug addict. The money printing process that gave pleasure in the first dose now only serves to keep the patient alive. But the patient is dying. Your money is dying. Rising prices in the market do not mean that products are becoming more valuable. It means that the purchasing power of the money in your pocket is melting. You are not getting poorer. The unit of measurement you use is shrinking. This is exactly where we need to step away from the noise. Most people think crypto is a ticket to get rich. Let me buy Doge. Let it do 100x. Let me buy a Lamborghini. This is the gambler's perspective, and gamblers always lose to the house in the end. Our perspective must be different. Bitcoin was born from the ashes of the 2008 crisis, exactly the year when banks bankrupted the world and states bailed out banks with the people's money. Satoshi Nakamoto dropped this node in the first block of Bitcoin, the Genesis block, the times 03 John 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. Bitcoin is not a stock. It is not a technology company. Bitcoin is a digital protest. Bitcoin is an asset that, for the first time in history, states and banks cannot control, cannot increase the supply of as they please, and no one can confiscate. 21 million. They can never change this number. Nixon cannot come out and say, let it be 42 million now. The Fed chair cannot come out and say, let's print a little more. That is why crypto is not a gamble. It is a lifeboat, escaping a sinking ship. The ship, the fiat system, is taking on water. Inflation water has come up to our necks. The orchestra keeps playing, stock market records. People are still fighting over cabins, politics. But the smart ones, the intelligent capital we call smart money, are quietly getting into the lifeboats. BlackRock, Fidelity, MicroStrategy. Why do you think they are buying Bitcoin? Because they know the math too. They know the ship is sinking. The Great Reset is at the door. But this is not the reset planned by the guys in Davos. This is the reset where money separates from the state and returns to the people, to the code. We have difficult years ahead. There will be volatility. There will be drops. There will be fear. The media will tell you Bitcoin is dead. They will say crypto was a bubble, just like they said the internet is a fad in the 1990s. But you know the truth now. You know that the paper money in your pocket is an ice cube melting every second. The choice is yours. Either you continue to hold that ice cube and watch it melt away, or you move your wealth to the granite fortresses of the digital age, to the blockchain. This is next-gen finance. We are not just talking about making money here. We are talking about how to take back our freedom. If you want to be a part of this awakening, you are in the right place. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and take your place in the lifeboat. Because when the ship sinks, there will be no one to hand you a life jacket. Take care of yourselves, and most importantly, stay decentralized.
You